You're watching ZTN News Blitz. Good afternoon. I'm Itaimo Tiniri. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Mnangagwa rejects Mbuya Nehanda's head. Council quota system critical in empowering women. UNESCO recognizes Zimbabwe's Mbira instrument. And in sport, will Zimbabwe sport recover from COVID-19 impact? The statue of Zimbabwe's first Chimurenga Umvukela heroine, Mbuya Nehanda, will be reworked. The statue will now portray an image of an old woman that most Zimbabweans have grown accustomed to through available pictures of the late spirit medium. This comes after President Emmerson Mnangagwa disapproved the statue of a youthful Mbuya Nehanda made by sculptor David Mtasa. Presidential spokesperson George Charamba told ZTN that the president has ordered a redo of the statue to resemble the one at Parliament building.
And really, when you have that kind of artistic production, there are key features which must ensure that onlookers immediately connect with the production. And one key feature has to do with the physical appearance of the real life figure you're talking about. So the president immediately reacted. He wanted to understand why artistically, Mtasa decided to make Nehanda look a lot more youthful. And then it emerged that the reality is that Mtasa had in fact done something that approximated Nehanda in life. But the authorities at the monuments and museums said they were of a different view. They thought the artistic production must convey and communicate vigor, permanency, youthfulness of the spirit which Nehanda incarnates or personifies. So they then suggested that Nehanda be made a lot younger to suggest that buoyancy which they wanted to communicate to the onlooker. The president didn't agree, and as it turns out, that youthful face of Nehanda will be put away, and we'll have a Nehanda who is closer to how the good lady looked in real life, which means a lot more wrinkled, well past middle age, and of course showing the strains and stresses of captivity.
Government has justified the recently announced amendment of the Constitution on proportional representation in local authorities, saying this is the only way to empower women in politics. Statistics show that women representation in rural and urban councils dropped from 19% in 2008 to 13% in 2018. This is due to various factors such as lack of financial backing to compete against the emancipated male counterparts. Asked whether the move for a 30% quota for women in all local authorities should not be enforced in various political levels instead of just awarding women seats, Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Minister Ziambi had this to say.
But this is a policy decision to say let's empower women, just like what we did with the National Assembly. You cannot leave it open to contestants to say that you must be persuaded to ensure that you field more candidates. So the best way to do it is to ensure that we take the number of voters for a particular party, and then we calculate the number of seats that they can get on the basis of the 30% that has been added.
Women's Affairs Minister Stembiso Nyoni also weighed in.
So I think this quota system will help the women to go into decision making and then make decisions that will improve the conditions under which the majority of women in the rural areas find themselves. And then after that, it is hoped that they will be empowered enough to also stand and campaign and get elected on equal basis as men.
Female Students Network Executive Director Evanice Munando said while the move is commendable, more work still needs to be done to encourage robust participation of women in politics.
The quota system is just to, what is it? It's not enough. I think as women we are saying it's not enough because we need gender equality, and gender equality cannot be, solved or met by having a quota system. But I think we do appreciate the move by the government that at least they are considering that we have women represented in the council. Of late, I think the situation was not looking very nice to us as women. We're being left behind, but I think as we move forward, the government should consider gender equality at its best to say we need equal representation of women and men in the positions of decision making, so that at least we are there with equality.
The Zimbabwean government has set a target to generate $12 billion from the mining sector by 2023. This comes at a time when the country's economy is shifting from being agro-based to mineral resource dependent. ZTN reporter Takudzwa Chihambakwe looks at how critical mineral exploration is towards achieving this goal.
Observers say the target is ambitious, but government is optimistic. A $12 billion mining economy is attainable by 2023. Mines and Mining Development Minister Winston Chitando recently told Parliament that the target was achievable in spite of a number of challenges. Power cuts and the COVID-19 pandemic have threatened to derail the target.
In some cases, you find that I can't talk of production, but it's not there. But I'm talking of us establishing the capacity to produce. But once that capacity to produce is established, you want that capacity to translate into production, to translate into sales. If we take all this, Chair, I believe in terms of building the capacity to get to 12 billion, that we are way on course.
Mining firms undertaking various projects towards the attainment of the target have already been identified. Negotiations with others are underway. Gold mining company Duration Gold is one such mining firm keen to play its part towards achieving this target. To date, the firm has sunk over $7 million in exploration at work at its Gaika and Athens mines in Midlands Province.
The granting of exploration licenses is critical for the mining industry in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe has been mining for more than a century, and most of the mines are very deep now. So it is very important to bring new mines into production, and this can only come into production from the results of new exploration.
Mashingaiza believes government should start awarding exclusive prospecting orders which allow companies to explore.
So Duration has applied for a number of exclusive prospecting orders around the country in certain strategic areas which have been carefully selected for their potential for gold deposits. If they are granted, which we are almost certain that they will, we look forward to start exploration programs and hopefully define some deposits or resources that can be developed into large-scale gold mines.
Picking low-hanging fruits with a medium and long-term impact, among other factors, are expected to help Zimbabwe attain its ambitious target of boosting production in the mining sector. The mining sector contributes about 70% of the country's forex earnings. Taku Chiambakwe for ZTN News.
Zimbabwe's Arts Minister Kirsty Coventry says the inscription of the Mbira instrument on the prestigious United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organizations representative list of the intangible cultural heritage will boost cultural markets for Zimbabwe. The inscription was done yesterday during the ongoing 15th virtual session of the Intergovernmental Committee for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage.
The UNESCO inscription is therefore key for the expansion of cultural markets and business development. It will lead to an increase on local and global demand for the Mbira instrument, Mbira music, Mbira musicians and teachers. Further to this, it will create new markets for Mbira. Ensembles to not only tour the world, but also to upload their music online, thereby increasing Zimbabwe's international engagements without having to mention the reshaping of our national viewpoint through their various songs that promote the concept of Ubuntu, as well as national development. Thus, Zimbabwe's visibility is improved.
Hundreds of schoolboys kidnapped in northwest Nigeria have been handed over to the government. Officials say 344 boys are now safe. However, an unspecified number is still in the hands of captors. President Muhammadu Buhari's assistant, Bashir Ahmed, posted on Twitter saying the students had been rescued. Last week's abduction was claimed by Boko Haram in an unverified audio recording. A study in Singapore has shown that babies born to women with COVID-19 have antibodies against the virus. Although the researchers said it is not yet clear what level of protection this may offer, the findings released today from a study of 16 women found that most were mildly infected, while more severe reactions occurred in older women with a high body mass index. According to the Singapore Obstetrics and Gynecology Research Network, out of the 5 women who had delivered their babies by the time the study was published, all had antibodies. The researchers added that the number of antibodies in the babies varied and was higher among those whose mothers had been infected nearer to the time of delivery. The coronavirus pandemic has left Zimbabwean sport in a difficult position, and without government support, recovery going into 2021 could be difficult. On Thursday, Youth Sport, Arts and Recreation Minister Kirsty Coventry said she's aware that associations may need more financial support for things to get back to normal.
We had requested for there to be extra additional support, the same way in which we had the athletes sort of relief fund. We had requested the same for national associations since the fund wasn't big enough to get to them. But we will do whatever we can to try and bring some relief to them. And I think also hopefully in the new year, and with the new amendments being made to the SRC Act along with the Sport Integrity Bill, where we'll be able to sort of restructure and reconfigure the SRC as it's known to everyone.
In 2008, at the ICC Cricket World Cup in Malaysia, he was Zimbabwe's youngest player. He was considered to be the next big thing in Zimbabwe cricket. Sadly, Edzai Jaure's career ended prematurely after an ankle injury. However, he found love in music as a musician and producer. Through music, he also met the love of his life, Chiedza Basri, and tomorrow the two will tie the knot in Harare. Russia's ban from all major sporting events after a doping scandal has been cut to 2 years by the Court of Arbitration for Sport. The ban still prevents Russia from competing in the Tokyo Olympics and Paralympics set to be held next year, the football's 2022 World Cup in Qatar. Russia was initially given a 4-year ban by the World Anti-Doping Agency, which has said that the reduction of the ban should be seen as any validation of Russia's conduct. And that's all we had for you on News Blitz. Thank you for watching.